Hey, good morning, everybody. It's Lindsay Ostrom. How's everybody doing? I just have to find us here. Give me just a moment. I'll get us dialed in. There we are. So that if anybody has any questions, I can be here to answer those. Sorry for my big arm. We'll wait for some people to get here till it's exactly 9 o'clock, and then we will get going. So welcome to the Ornamentally Yours Live ornament making day. I'm so excited to be here, and I'm so excited that you guys are here. Does it feel like Christmas yet? Not really. Not to me. It kind of feels like fall, but also not really. I feel like we've missed so much of this year that I don't even know what it feels like anymore, but I am certainly ready to make ornaments. So I hope you guys are too. We have a great lineup of gals. I guess I shouldn't use the word gals. I've always used the word gals. I'm sticking with it. We have a great lineup of gals who are doing amazing ornaments for you. And I'm kicking it off since this was my idea. To begin with, I was just going to do a little one myself in my creative hand lettering group. And then I thought, why don't I invite some other talented people to do it with me? So here we are. So today you have me and you have my friend Jeannie Dickinson, who's going to be doing Angels Among Us from 12 to 1 Pacific Standard Time. And then you have my friend Michelle Hamilton, who's going to be doing Snowflake Snowman from 2 to 3. So we are pretty full for today. So even if you guys don't catch this live, which I know you all are, but if for some reason you miss it live, it will be recorded here. So you can always go back and watch later. So don't feel pressured to work right along with me, but you can if you want. And I think that gives you all the information you need for the moment. So just know how to access the unit so you can get back there to find everything that you want to take a look at. That's where it will all be saved, is in each unit under each artist's name. Okay, got it? So let me just tell you quickly about me. So I owned my own store called The Paper Rabbit for about 32 years. The store is still in business in Montrose, California, down in Southern California. But we moved our kids north 22 years ago, I think. And this is one of the things that we did at my store. We hand-painted ornaments. We hand-painted on clipboards and picture frames and all kinds of things. So one of my favorite things to do is at Christmas time is to paint ornaments. And I missed it so much when I sold the store and moved here that I decided that I would do craft shows. So these are some of the ornaments that I was doing for craft shows. And then COVID hit, COVID hit, and now there are no more craft shows this year. So I have all this stuff that I worked on and no way to sell it. So we created the Handmade Holidays group. And these are some of the items that are for sale in the group. There's lots of different crafters there that are selling things as well. But the ornaments are just something I do because I love handmade ornaments. And I love giving ornaments every year as a gift. And I think it's just such an incredibly fabulous tradition. We have a new grandbaby coming right around the 1st of December, and he is getting his own tub for his ornaments. I'm going to start a cute tub to begin with when he is barely even here. So let me put these back in. Look at the llama. Look how cute the llama is. So what I'm going to teach you guys today is how to draw the trees, because I thought that was the simplest one for everybody to understand. Teresa says, do those need to be glass or will unbreakables work? We're going to talk about that as we go. I'm going to leave this ornament right. Oh, I think I can use a thing of washi tape to sit it on. Ah, there we go. So there's the ornament. Oh, except that the bow is too heavy. There we go. Okay. So let's talk about what you use to do them. Oh, it's really too heavy. I use paint pens. like this. This is a box that I've had for, let me just close it so you can see what the top of it looks like. When I owned my own wholesale company, which was called Cut It Up, it was my company with my partner, Vicky. We created these tubs for pens and paper and all kinds of supplies that we took and sold at the scrapbook shows. So I wanted a tub that I could carry my paint pens with me in. So we created this tub and we sold them. They are no longer available, so don't ask. But this carries all my paint pens. When I say paint pen, a paint pen is anything that has a ball bearing. Hear that? If there's a ball bearing in your pen, it's a paint pen. So there are lots of different brands and companies of them. I'm just going to show you a few and tell you about my favorites. So my favorite used to be this Zig Painty Pen. It would still be my favorite if they still made 48 colors. They do not. I bought out all their old stock and I still have quite a few colors left. Like this is tomato, but this is China red. So you can see as an artist why I like these, because they're just two different shades of red. And you don't get that from any other paint pen company. There's also Uni Paint, which is almost gone as well. They've almost sold everything in the Uni Paint brand. So those are almost not available. So then my next favorite would be Deco Color by Marvi Uchida. So that's the one I recommend that you guys buy. Okay? The others are harder to find. For detail, I love my Posca Marker, which is a Uni Posca. The problem with them for the glass ball ornaments is that you can see I use it as for all the white detail on the trees. It takes longer to dry. So that's my only sad drawback for a Posca pen. It works fabulous on paper, but on glass ball ornaments, it just takes longer to dry. So if you're trying to do this and work in a circle, you're going to smear it unless you practice a whole lot. Okay? If you guys have questions, just ask as I go along here, and I'll try to answer them. Teresa, I'm coming back to your question. Hang on. So the difference between using a paint pen on a glass ball ornament and on something that is plastic, I don't have any plastic ornaments here, and I'm not going to write on my brand new little pen box. These are smooth and it sits on top of the paint, if that makes sense. On plastic, it soaks into the plastic, and you're not going to get, like this is a smooth green finish. You're going to get a real jaggedy, not smooth green surface. Do you know what I mean? It's going to look streaky. That's the word I'm trying to look for, streaky. But on a glass ball ornament, it seems to work really well. So that's the difference. Yes, you can use them on plastic. They dry just fine. The problem is going to be that you may not be happy with if you're filling in a large area, like a large circle. It's not going to look as nice on plastic. It's going to be streaky. Okay? I want to take off my gloves because I don't want to get them dirty. So I want to show you guys how to start a paint pen. So when you first purchase a paint pen, you want to shake it really good, because what is inside of your pen is oil and paint. Now this is an acrylic. I would tell you what's in it, but it's all in Japanese. But it's acrylic and oil, and the oil is what keeps the ball bearing moving. If you don't hear the ball bearing moving, you have a little bit of a problem, okay? So you want to make sure that your ball bearing is always shaken. And that's the same with any brand of paint pen. Let me just show you. Like, hear that one? It is. Sorry, that's loud. That is not shaking very good. It's because I probably didn't store it well last year. Here's another one. Let's try. Oh. Hear that? That's good. So I take all my pens, and if you follow me on the Creative Hand Lettering group, you know that we don't store pens upright. We store pens horizontally. So even in this box, I lay it down. I flip it and lay it down. These are the containers that I use now for my pens. They're airtight Rubbermaid Brilliance containers, and they're much better for your pens because they keep everything airtight. So store them horizontally. So once you've shaken it up pretty good, this is a brand new one, so that's why I wanted to make sure that I saved it for today. Take your plastic off and shake it. Make sure it's shaked really good because you're mixing your paint and your oil. Next thing you want to do, let me see if I can bring my camera down just a bit. Make sure that you push down on it and let go. You don't want to push down on it until you get a big puddle. I am certainly not going to wreck my pen here to show you guys. I pushed down just a little bit too hard, but I think it's okay because I pulled back. The Posca markers start a lot easier. Let me see if I have a brand new paint pen I can show you. I think I do. Yeah, I do. So here's a brand new paint pen. Let me get another piece of paper here. So now this is a super old pen because I bought out all of their stock. So this pen has been sitting in my box for maybe 4 years. So hopefully it'll work. You're going to shake it really good. Get that oil and that paint really mixed up, and then push down, and then watch. If you don't see anything happening, push down again and watch. Put the cap back on, shake a little bit more. We're going to pray that this one works because, like I said, it's super old. It may take a while for that ink to come in, but you got to watch it, and you got to watch the paint come through. All right, I see it starting. I know you guys can't, but I can see the red there. Barely. So we're going to keep pushing. So now do you see the red coming on there? You don't want to push until it floods. Remember that. You just want to keep pushing so that you get that ink starting to flow through the tip. See it there? I could put the cap back on, but for your guys' sake, I'm going to go a little quicker. So it takes a little bit of patience to get your pen started. Don't push until it floods. And then once you see paint coming, even if it's not fully onto your tip, you just start writing with it. Oh, that's a pretty color. Isn't that pretty? This is burgundy. This is that company that they don't make all the colors anymore, Zig Painty. You can buy 12 colors now, not all of them. So that's how you get a pen started. Told you how to lay it down horizontally, told you how to get it started. The next thing I want to do is tell you how to correct a mistake. This is the fun part. So on a glass ball, there is pretty much no correcting. That's what I'm going to tell you. You learn how to cover things up really good, but there is nothing really that takes it off, because if you use the 3 things I'm going to tell you, which will do corrections, it'll take the paint right off of your ornament. And that's a drag. So the 3 things that you can use to take paint pens off are lighter fuel. That is my #1 go-to. That's the least abrasive, I'll say, which sounds disgusting because it's lighter fuel. But lighter fuel by Ronson, in America anyway, it's Ronson. That's #1. The #2 to use would be like a Goo Gone or something that takes a sticker off. Try that. And if all else fails, go to acetone, which is nail polish remover. But it is going to take everything off. It's going to take your nail polish off. It's going to take all the paint off of this ornament. So I learned how to cover things up and change things into something else. That's the important tip, is go with the flow, because you can't always correct what you've done here. Okay? Next, I want to show... Uh-oh, where's the rainbow trees? Oh, it's over here. Hang on. I dropped everything. Give me a second. Okay. So what I am teaching you guys really to do here is to doodle. So you should have printed out this, which is your rainbow trees, that gives you all the details that you need to go into your trees, and it gives you all the shapes for all your trees, okay? This is your supply list that tells you what you need to get going on this. But everybody's had a really hard time getting the glass balls, so I'm going to show you a little something different, and then we'll do the glass balls as well. This just shows you the shapes of your trees. If you like to doodle, here comes my shameless plug. They are in every class that I do. Let's go back up. If you like to doodle, there's a link in the description of this post for my doodling book, which is coming out on November 23rd. It's going to be launched here on Facebook with Adornit, which is the company who I have produced it with. And you can click on that link and you'll get a notification when we go live. So things like this will be in the doodling book, okay? So if you like the trees, there's lots more where that came from in Doodly Doo. That's the book. There's my shameless plug. Okay, so I know a lot of you guys had a hard time finding the glass ball ornaments. I don't need that anymore. So I get mine at the local craft stores. Ben Franklin, which is near me, carries them from Krebs, Krebs. These, I wish I could tell you where they're from. Oh, these are Walmart. They were from last year. Whenever I find the pearlized ones, which are the white, I buy them and I hoard them and I stock up on them because I sell and paint so many. And I like the ones with the fancy tops. You should also be able to get them at Hobby Lobby, Michael's, Joann's, sometimes Home Depot and Lowe's. Sometimes a good supermarket near you might have ornaments. And these are considered pearl, not white. You can get whatever you want. Hang on. It's very hard to find the black ones anymore, but I do love the writing on the black and the doodling on the black. This is a tree one on red, and it looks beautiful on the red. The red shows up really good. So you can use colors. I just thought for today, since we're doing the rainbow tree, it does look really pretty on the white, on the pearl. Okay? So if you're worried about going straight to an ornament, here's what you could do. I did these earlier today, and I'm super excited about them. I think I'm going to finish these in my creative hand lettering group and share them there unless we have time. What I did was I took a Pyrex dish, which I have tons of, and I traced it onto chipboard. Well, this one I used a can of cranberry sauce. So whatever you have in your kitchen to make a template, I traced it onto here. This one was a bigger one. Then I traced it onto white cardstock, and I traced it onto some cute scrapbooking paper on the back. And then I did the trees on there. So instead of using paint pens to begin with, I just used a black fine marker. You can use a Sharpie or anything that's going to be pigment ink, that's permanent pigment ink. And we'll do a different tree because there's a bunch of different ones. These are the triangle trees. And you might want to use a pencil to begin with some of this doodling. But there's a triangle tree. Let's get our sheet back here. Here's this little spirally tree. It's coming down and doing a spiral. And on the other side, you do another spiral. And then you just keep going and going. I used to call this a Tiffany tree because it looks like it belongs in Tiffany's, doesn't it? It's a fancy tree. But you may want to use a pencil if you're going to do these on cardstock to begin with because, you know, for you guys that haven't done this before, you may want to just try different things. So here's a more of a primitive pine tree. That's this one here on your sheet. Oops. And then we'll do this one, which is more of a loopy tree. It's like scallops and just swirls. Different size scallops. And again, because you haven't practiced these before, I would use tracing paper over the sheet that I provided for you guys and trace a little bit and learn how to do some of the tree shapes before you go to your ornament. And so this is a good way to do it with the cardstock because you can practice a little bit. Uh-oh, there's questions. Were all the ornaments matte finish? I can't find matte. Yes, they are matte finish. You can use shiny. I wish I had a shiny one here. The problem with the shiny, and also with some of the shiny glass, that's the see-through glass, when you use a paint pen on it, it scrapes right off. So for some reason on the matte finish here, it soaks in a little bit and becomes permanent. Let's see. Barbara says, the black ultrafine marker is the best. I believe I've been fooled too many times by buying the marker. Yeah, the ultrafine is good. You don't want the fine if you're buying a Sharpie. So anyhow, then I watercolored this. Then the next thing I was going to do, and then I'll go back to showing you how to draw some of the trees, is instead of using the white, I was just going to take a darker color and do my details. And the details are what's in the top left corner of your sheet. And this is just, like I said, it's just cardstock. It's nothing more than cardstock. Yes, Christine is correct. The satin finish is the easiest. But you could color these in to begin with, just to learn. With watercolor like I did here, you can use markers like I've got here, or you can use colored pencil. I'll just do one more here. We'll come back to this if I have time, because these might be my new favorite things. So you've got the top, which I used a decal edge scissors. Let me just cut one out for you so you can see. This is just an old cereal box. And I go right on the line and cut the decal edge. I mean, not a decal edge. I'm sorry. This is a scalloped edge. And you can use an old cereal box. If you have good chipboard that you bought at the craft supply store, you can use that. So if you can't find the ornaments, don't worry, because that's why I wanted to make this one this morning for you. Because I didn't want anybody sad that they couldn't find the ornaments. So that's all you do, and then you do the exact same thing with your white. I cut this out first, and then I do my trees after I assemble the entire ornament. You go on the outside line so that it's a little bit hanging over from your ornament itself. And these are a good pair of scallop scissors. You can buy those Fiskars scissors that are like $3 at the craft supply stores. Or you can use a straight edge. Or if you have a die cut machine, you can use a die cut machine. So then you're just going to glue that onto there. I put my ribbon down first and glued it in. Then I put my scrapbook paper on the back so that you cover all this ugliness. Got it? We'll come back to doing these if we have time, but I want to show you guys how to make your trees. But that is my new favorite thing. I just got to say, I came up with that idea in the middle of the night when I couldn't sleep last night. They're just so fun. And you could cut other shapes. Just, you know, everybody's got these in their cupboard. You've got lots of things that are circles already, so why not use them, you know? Okay, so back to the trees. So before we do these on the ornaments, I just want to tell you the one that I'm going to be showing today is just triangles. So I'm just going to use a pencil. It's long, skinny triangles and short, fat triangles. So it's just triangles. And you can see my hand's kind of shaky. I don't know. Oh, I think it's my table. You can intersect them like I did there, but you have to learn as you're practicing drawing your triangles that if you're doing it direct to an ornament, because there's no way of really tracing this on to begin with, you have to learn to kind of draw with your pen and not go through each other. If you're drawing on a piece of paper, you can always go with pencil and then go back and erase it. But going direct to an ornament, you can't do that. Jeanette says, did you spray any type of sealer on the bulbs? I do not, because it's not something that gets handled a lot. It gets taken out of a box, put directly on the tree, and then goes back into a box. With other things that you do, depending on what the surface is, there's lots of spray sealers that you might want to use. You can get kind of curly with your triangles if you wanted to give it a little flair. So, and then your base, your trunk for your tree is just a rectangle. Chunky, real wide, tall and skinny, short and fat. And that's all you do for the trunks of your trees. Got it? Super simple. So your trees are triangles, your bases or your trunks are rectangles. When you get to these guys, they take a little bit more practice. Can you use a Pentel white pen to add the inside dots? I don't know what a Pentel white pen is, but if it's a pigmented ink permanent pen, then the answer would be yes. Okay, so let's go back to these ones. So this one I did wrong on that other sheet. You want to put your trunk in first. Then you're going to do a swirl off to the left and a swirl off to the right. And then you just keep going down with them. And there's a million trees that you can do. You can go online and look at other people who have done trees. You can look on napkins, on party goods, you know. You'll find tons. In fact, this is a cute tree that I forgot that I used to do. You do a short stroke there, and you get longer and kind of wonky up and down and backwards and sideways. That's like a primitive tree. You can put a star on the top of that one. Or you can put a snowflake, which is an asterisk. And then the next tree, the easy way to do this one is a triangle, right? And then instead of you would put another triangle there, you're just going to go from here and you do half of a triangle. You don't do the pointed part. And then you just kind of do them side to side and kind of, this one's real lopsided. This one's real straight. So if you wanted it really straight, you would just do this. So they're just half triangles. You don't do the top part. You just do the bottom part. Okay? Yeah, the primitive tree is cute. I always forget to add it to stuff like this. I agree with you, Corey. And it would be cute with little buttons or dots or whatever in there. Okay, so this one's a little trickier. So you start with kind of an oval or a half circle at the top, and then you come down and curve and do scallops and go back up to your oval. This one takes a little bit of practice. We're not going to do that on our ornament today. What time is it? I just don't want to run out of time. And that becomes this kind of fluffy tree. And like I say, get some tracing paper, put it on top of this. You can even, once you print this out, you could probably put copy paper on top of it and just trace to learn how to do some of the shapes. There's the trunk for that guy. And this one, you also do a straight line first. That's not very straight, but you know, it's art, it's okay. And then you're just doing stripes at a downward angle. And if you wanted to, you could do stripes like this that have a little curve. I'm going fast. And I should have had a clipboard here. I apologize. It's a little wonky. And then I put hearts on the top of my trees. I put stars. I put asterisks or nothing. It's up to you. And then the last tree that I have here is a triangle. But at the bottom, it's a half of a circle. It's got a curve to it. So it looks like a watermelon slice to begin with. But I do it a little bigger and give it a little curl. So practicing on cardstock or paper first is a great idea. All right. Oh, Glenda says she can't wait to try this on black paper. Yeah, I agree. That would be fun. So let's just, I'm going to glue this one down here so I can show you. Well, maybe I'm not. If my glue's not working, I'm not. So if you want to do just the circular ones, you can do those till the cows come home, you know. You don't have to wait to try to find the ornaments that you're not able to find. That's why I wanted to make sure that I gave you guys something that was doable even if you can't get to the store. So you just glued that to the back of your cardstock. And then here's my super cute paper that has bunnies and trees from like several years ago. So I'm just going to trace my cranberry can, or you could use a soup can, or you could use any can that you have at home, or any circle of any kind. Okay. And I go on the outside of the line. But you could go on the line. It doesn't really matter. Just to me, it gives a little bit of an overlap. And I want that little bit of an overlap. Do you guys have any questions on the doodling part? The doodling part is the part you have to practice a little bit. But you could make these ornaments for whomever. So now I have, hopefully, somewhere, a ribbon. There it is. Oh my gosh, that's really cute. You could make the cardboard ones into tree shapes. Oh, Lynn, you are so smart. Yes, you could. Why didn't I think of that? A little bit too long. So you just put your glue down and put your ribbon down, if it will allow me to put it down. Oh, that's a little too much glue. Okay. It doesn't match exactly this green, but I kind of liked it. It's a little weird green. Cute. Okay, so that's all you have to do for your ornament. So now let's do a couple of those trees. Where's our practice sheet? Right here. So I'm going to do them with a paint pen on this because that's what we talked about, was a paint pen. Deb says you can draw one and scan it and print them in color. I can see using my Cricut to mass produce. Well, Deb, then you're taking my job away. You do mass producing for you. I'm kidding. Okay, so we're going to do some triangles with the paint pens directly to cardstock. Now, paint pens, guys, they don't always love paper. So you don't want to color like this with a paint pen. You want to color in one direction and slowly. And with a very light pressure. Does that make sense? This is where you have to be sure of what you're doing because you can't go into that other tree. You have to stop and butt it up next to the tree. And these are obviously not rainbow colors because I thought it would be fun to try just the green ones. And that one's going to go through that tree, which is fine. Oh, this pen's almost gone. When it starts squeaking like that, you know that there's hardly any ink left. And that was one of my favorite colors. So sad. Here's a Posca green. It's called khaki. Are those khakis? Sorry, that was my Jake from State Farm What are you wearing? All right, so see if you don't have an ornament, because it's not easy to do these round ornaments. Corey says you could use your Starbucks cup. My friend Corey, she drinks Starbucks coffee every day. Yes, you could do your Starbucks cup. There's a million things you could paint on. You guys are so cute. You could use a canning lid jar thingy. Yeah, you could. Now you're thinking. Now you guys are cooking with butter. So the reason that I have so many different brands of pens is because they're all a little bit different colors of browns. You know what I mean? I don't like to use the exact same color every time, if that makes sense. That's a dark brown. I like it. Are you showing how to do on a round surface later? Yes, in just a moment. I just want you guys to know that you can practice on these flat ones, okay? So I'm going to let that soak in there a little bit, and I'm going to go to the round glass ball. Pringles lids cans can be used too. Oh, you guys are so good. I painted ornaments many years ago. I love the paper ones now. Yes, me too. All right. So I have seen people that put their ornaments like this and then they paint on them with a brush. Since I use a paint marker, I hold my ornaments. So, oops, this one got stuck there. So you want to make sure your hands are super clean. If you have just eaten potato chips or crackers, you want to go wash your hands. So then you take your pens, and what I want to make sure is I shake them before I use them. Okay, Bonnie, if you have those glass ornaments that are the clear glass, it does scratch off of there, just so you know. And I've tried to seal those, and they don't seal very good because it's clear glass. So test your pen first on paper. And it's no different doing it here as it was doing it on the paper. The difference is in turning it, you know. It dries fairly quick, within maybe 30 seconds. So it's not a fast process. If I'm doing a bunch of rainbow trees, let's just say, I'll do 6 ornaments at a time and do all the red first and then go to another color. And go to another ornament, I mean. Do not take the caps off with your teeth like I just did. That was bad of me. Always test it on paper first, because if you don't shake it up real well, you're going to get oil and no paint. That makes sense? Always also make sure your cap is on super tight when you're all done. Like this one, there's no paint coming to it. It's all oil. So then you have to take a break. Some of these pens I haven't used for almost a year. But you have to make sure that you're, oh, you heard me biting the cap? It's really hard to put the ornament down. So you can see the difference where the paint starts coming versus just the oil. Who's doing this along with me? I gotta know. Ooh, that is a cool brown. I'm going to use that on the next one too. Oh. And I don't know where I got this idea for rainbow trees, but it's my best seller. I sell tons of this one. I got to get rid of that comment. There we go. And you want all different size trees. That's the important part if you're doing just the triangular tree. And these pens don't blend very well. Like if I was to put the green into the yellow there, it doesn't always work nicely. Let's put it that way. Okay, so if you guys try this on your ornaments and you have questions, let me know. Because it is a little tricky. Glenda is allergic to oil-based paint. So I'm pretty sure most of these are acrylic. The Sharpie paint pens are oil-based, and I personally hate the Sharpie paint pens. That's just a personal note. I don't like the way they draw, and I don't like the way they don't last, and you have to buy a new one every couple of weeks. Well, it won't smear if I do that. Don't worry. Okay. One more tree. Cindy says she's afraid of smooth round things. That is just a crack up. Don't be afraid. I mean, you can buy these fairly inexpensively. When I went to Amazon last night to look for somebody to see if I could find them, they are not cheap. But, and I don't really like Hobby Lobby, so don't get mad at me, but I am going to tell you, Hobby Lobby puts theirs out in June usually. And by now they're selling them buy one, get one half off, or, I mean, you can buy them affordably. All right, so there's our trees. Now we have to do the decorating part. That's the fun part. Oops, the cap fell off. So by now your trees should be dry, and you're just going to decide what kind of little doodles you want to put on them by looking at your sheet. These are scallops, so I'm doing a scallop tree here. And I'm telling you, the Posca works amazing on top of your paint pens. Isn't that cool? This is just going to be little tick marks. I don't know if I can get to the point where you can actually watch me draw on the ornament. I think that is good, right? And then I never can remember what I do. Oh, I love X's. But you could fill them with whatever. If you want to take the time, you could put lights on them. You could draw a string of lights. That is up to you. Where's my sheet? I got a cheat. I can't remember what designs to do. I don't know where my sheet is. Oh, here it is. Oh, I love these lines that go across. So do you guys see? It is easy. It's just tricky on a round surface. That's the tricky part. My husband just bought me some paint pens, not even knowing I wanted some. That's awesome. And polka dots, of course, are the cutest part of any tree. So then you can go back with a silver or a gold paint pen. I do have a favorite, silver or gold, but they do not make it anymore, and it's all I own, so I'm going to use it today. I apologize. It's a Painty Twin. It had silver or gold on one side and silver on the other, but this is not made anymore. Sorry. And you can do asterisks, and you can do stars, and you can do hearts, and you can do circles that have little points coming off of them, look kind of like a snowball, star, and a heart. I love hearts. So there's my tree toppers, and they don't show up real good, but hang on. Diana says, where can you find the patterns? They're in my units here. Everything is in each artist's unit here in the group. So now I'm just doing different size dots to make snow on the bottom. And to me, this is like riding a bike. I mean, I do it all the time, so I know kind of what I'm doing. But you could do your own thing on the bottom. Totally up to you. So there's that. Then what I like to do, let's see if I have one finished so I can show you. Let's show you a couple of these. So see the little asterisks here? There's the snow on the bottom. And I love the little asterisks that just create more snowflakes. Kind of pretty, right? Here's a bunch of snow made with asterisks and polka dots. Isn't it pretty? Just looks real lacy. Now, I don't know if you can see this part, but I've gone over it with stickles, which I'm going to show you in just a moment. I do hope that if you guys make these, that you get to show me what you do. I really will be so excited. If I still had my store, I would hire everybody as an employee who could do these, because it is not easy when you go to the round glass ball. So when I had my store, we would paint until 3 o'clock in the morning. We had so many orders, and all the young girls that worked for me always hated that fact because I hired a lot of cheerleaders. I don't know if that makes sense, but cheerleaders paint those big posters and stuff, and they do a great job with this. I can't even tell you why, but I can tell you that's the deal. Anyway, I wouldn't let them work till 3 o'clock in the morning, and those were the girls that made the big money. But the young high school kids couldn't do that. This is a very light blue. It's called Pale Blue from Marvy. It's almost white. And I do these where I do it only to one side, because on the back side is where I personalize names and the date. Or you could write 2020 sucks or something like that. Okay? So that is really about it for the personalizing and the decorating. I want to show you stickles. Does everybody know about stickles? This one might be empty. Let me get another one. So this is the trickiest part to the whole thing. Oh, and this is another oops. You have to be super careful not to put your hand back into it as it's drying. Luckily, I don't think I smeared anything. I felt it as my hand stuck to it, so I moved my hand out real quick. The other thing that's fun is to take your Posca marker. I should have showed you this. Use 2 different size pens. You can get real fine detail and then thicker detail with the wider pens. Which is why if I buy a color, I buy it in fine and medium. But you can get some little finer snow in here. This is where it's tricky, because see, you're turning your hand. On a round ornament where things haven't dried all the way yet. All right. Lindsay, you didn't put the cap back on your silver pen. Oh, well, this one is dry. This side is empty. This side is not. So this side, I pull the cap off and just let it. It's just a dead end. It's a dead end. So, again, I will test my stickles on a piece of scrap paper. So see, it's working good. You can see, do you know about stickles? It's a glitter glue. Lisa Marie, what are you guys saying? Okay, so where the silver was there and you can't see it real well, I'll go back with glitter glue. And you have to be all done with your ornament before you use glitter glue because it takes a long time to dry. So you're going to have to take this and put it aside. You can use little sauce cups like that you get ketchup in at the burger place, or little Pyrex dishes or egg crates or something to let this stuff dry. But you want to put it down as soon as you use your stickles, because inevitably my hand will go in it and smear it. Don't fall. I hope you guys can see that. Can you? Can you? One point you said to store the stickles upside down. How do you do that and have them stand up? Let's see if I can reach my box. They make little things for it, but I'm a tightwad. Ooh. I do this. I put them upside down in here. That way all your stickles goes to the bottom, so when you need to use it, you don't have to shake and shake and shake and shake. Okay, was there another question I missed? Oh, Stephanie, you're too funny. Okay, so let's go back to the paper one. If you guys have any questions about doing them on the circular level, let me know. I just want to finish this one. The lettering is difficult. Yeah, I'm not going to do any lettering on the round ornaments because these are all ornaments that I sell, and they will have people's names on the back. So I can't do any. Well, I guess I could. Hang on. Maybe that's better to show you some lettering on it. Thank you, Patricia, for mentioning that. So let's do one with lettering, because I don't want to go. Okay, I have about 3 minutes. See how good I am. So if you're writing names and dates, you want to use a skinnier pen. But if you're just writing, one word like that, sometimes your pens kind of don't do what they're supposed to, so you have to go back over it. You want to work quickly with paint pens. You don't want it to dry and then go back over it. You want to go back over it while it's wet. Trust me. Once it dries pretty hard. So coming up next is going to be Jeannie Dickinson, and she is doing Angels Among Us, and they are so cute. And I wanted to do mine along with her, but I'll just have to watch. But here, I just thought I'd show you how I do lettering. Lettering and doodling at the same time. I love red, white, and green. This is a teal, however. Oh, I'm sorry, you guys. I don't think I was on camera there. But we're going to be done here. I got to get off and let Jeannie come on. But I think I can put my polka dots on here. So after it's dry, you can go back with your Posca just like your trees, and you can add detail. This might be my new favorite ornament. You know why? Because it's simple. My friend Karen asked me the other day, how come I only put my friend Joy's name on stuff? I said, you're being silly because this is for Christmas. It's not her name. And if Karen was a wish for Christmas, I guess I would put her name on stuff. So there, now you have lettering on the ornaments. Okay, there's how you do lettering. Okay, I can't touch that one because it is wet, but I can put that one right there to dry. So I'm going to let Jeannie get on here and do her class. What I'll do is I'll finish some of these up and take pictures of them, and I'll post some photographs of the individual ornaments, and then you can take a look at those. This is always saved in the units until Christmas, and then poof, it's going to disappear. So thank you guys so much. Please patronize all of the artists that are here. I'm not going to say that for me, but I can say that for everybody else. Everybody here is working artists. We are trying to feed our families. So take a look at things that they have for sale and buy stuff from them. They would definitely appreciate it. So, all right, you guys, have a great day, and I'll talk to you in Jeannie's class, which is next. Thanks. Love you.